Hi y'all, welcome back. Question number 18. How does the VA home loan process work? This is a really great question because if you've never used your VA loan, now is the time. It is a wonderful product, honestly. You don't have PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, so that saves you, $100, maybe $150 a month. You also don't have to put any money down, which is also a huge savings. Most people have to put down at least a minimum of 3% in order to purchase a home, but using your VA loan, you don't have that. It is a great product. It does have a little bit more strict requirements when it comes to what the house needs to qualify for. So if the house has a lot of wood rot or anything that could be deemed, unsafe, those can create problems. I know a lot of time you're on Zillow or Realtor.com and you see like a foreclosure. It's a great price. You like the area. Well, not always will it qualify for a VA loan depending on the condition of the home. The VA wants your home to be safe, sound, and sanitary, which who doesn't want that? But if you are looking for something that kind of needs just a little bit of work, there is an option to do a VA renovation loan. That's always a possibility. I can put you in touch with a lender that I know that can do those types of loans because not all of them are created equal. You also have inspections that definitely play a role. So if the inspections come back and there's any type of issue like with the foundation, especially like a septic tank, anything like the bigger items, and especially for insurance, your roof, your water heater, your AC, all of those things need to be in good working condition. So typically what I like to do is kind of look ahead. So if you tell me, hey Taryn, I like 123 Park Street, great. I'm going to look into it, see what kind of red flags there potentially might be before we even waste our time diving into it too far. Because the last thing I want you to do is get your hopes up on a home that you love and then yet doesn't qualify for your VA loan. Now, it also does not mean that it will not cost you a dime. Granted, I have had several VA clients who have bought a house and actually got money back at the closing table. They put their $1,000 earnest money deposit down and then they got it back at closing and then some sometimes. So you can buy a home with very little out of pocket, but if you don't get lucky and you're not in a certain situation where that would happen to you, then you will have your own closing costs that you're responsible for, which is separate from your down payment, which is $0 for veterans. However, you still have closing costs, which in our area average to be about 3.5% to 4% of the purchase price. So when you're thinking about how much money you're going to need to buy a home using your VA loan, that 3.5% to 4% is a really good indicator of what you should be you should be setting aside in order to purchase a home. Now, sometimes that 3.5% to 4% can be covered by the seller. Maybe not all of it. It just depends on the house and it depends on the situation. That's where I come in. I'm always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, here's what we could possibly get this house for. Here's what we could probably offer. Here's some suggestions on how we can make this work. And I'm always going to be honest and truthful with you. I never want you to feel left out about that. We can always offer anything and I'm down to do whatever it takes. However, I just like to give you, realistic expectations and I want you to know ahead of time what we're looking at. That's my main goal.